L'ancien président de la Fédération
The former president of the International Federation of Athletics, Lamine Diack, and 5 other people, including his son, Papa Massata Diack, are in the eye of the French justice system, which blames them for breach of trust, corruption and money laundering in organized gangs. Among other accusations, the cover-up of about 20 doped Russian athletes in exchange for substantial bribes, part of which would have been used to finance the Senegalese opposition's 2012 election campaign against Abdoulaye Wade. This, he admitted to investigators in 2015 before retracting his statement. He is also accused of the disputed choice of Doha in Qatar to host the 2019 World Athletics Championships. The 87-year-old, who is in the dock now, is known for his high-level career. Indeed, he was champion of France in 1958 with a jump of 7.63 meters. In 1959, he was the French university champion with 7.72 meters. And before climbing the ladder of the IAAF,
we should be surprised that today everyone is lashing out at Lamine Diack without any precise elements and forgetting all those who were around him. And will demonstrate that as far as he was concerned, his only concern was to defend the interests of the IAAF and to preserve financial resources. The leaders of the IAAF are there to set an example and sanction positive tests. And in this case, they hide these controls, at least the biological passport. And so, Lilia Shobukova could continue to run after for a few years, sometimes after being caught, and that disrupts us and our careers.
The Vice President of the Sports Press Association, Haruna Deme, now joins us online from Senegalese capital, Dakar. Hello, thank you for being with us this morning. Now, after 2 referrals, the trial against Lamine Diack finally opened yesterday, June 8th, in Paris. Let's just say that it was time for Lamine Diack to finally be judged in view of the charges that have been brought against him for the past 5 years. And because he has been held in France for 5 years, precisely since 2015. So the trial was eagerly awaited. It was to be held in January, but was postponed, and again in February. And this context is quite complicated for some of the defenders of the parties involved. If we take into account the case of his son, who could not have his lawyers yesterday at the opening of the trial, he had asked for a postponement, which they did not get. Compared to Lamine Diack, I think that must be a great relief, because all now, supporters of the octogenarian denounce his fragile health, justice with double speed. What do you think this trial is? Is it out of the ordinary? Out of the ordinary, yes, because it's a rather bizarre trial from my point of view. We know the French judiciary, French companies, the French states, and France itself has not been weighed down in any way. It has no jurisdiction, in the opinion of several jurists, to judge Lamine Diack, especially as the headquarters of the IAAF was not in France, but in Monaco. So the French justice system does not seem competent to judge this kind of case. That is why many people think that there is something wrong with this case. That is, it is rather a question of settling of scores with Lamine Diack, with perhaps, I think, Russia, because it is at the heart of this story on which corruption has been established. We are waiting to see whether or not they are going to be substantiated on the stand. And some voices cry out for conspiracy against Africans in the leadership of world sport. Do you have the same perception? Would you say the same thing? I would say yes, because from my point of view, the Western world has not digested that after announcing IAAF would go bankrupt in 2010 to 2011, that Lamine Diack could have left billions and billions in the IAAF coffers. Moreover, up until today, the current president, Sébastien Coe, has not signed a single sponsorship contract. It is the contract left by Lamine Diack between 2011 and 2014 that allowed the IAAF to live today with all the financial resources he left in the coffers. And so somehow people have not forgiven him for having saved the IAAF when the objective was to bankrupt the organization in order to refound it, to restructure it, to reorganize it. That's what happens when Coe took the wheels. Since he changed the name to something completely different in a bid to transform the IAAF, we didn't really like the place of Africa at that time. And that the outcome of this trial will reveal whether or not Lamine Diack is guilty. Thank you so much for talking to us this morning. Haruna Deme is the Vice President of the Sports Press Association. Thank you so much again for being with us. Away from that,